Well, it is 12:01, so let's get started, or at least, accommodate the early birds today. Thank you for joining us
Well,
once again.
there's some over there. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
Is there a little echoing?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us once again for our lunch hour webinar. And today's topic is on all things hormones, any hormones that contributes to weight gain and weight management. So today, of course, I'm here myself, which I am kind of the consistent person that's been here every week to bring you these fun topics, along with our CEO of LWI, Colleen Lewis, who's joining us, as well as Dr. Sara Amir, by short, because her last name is way too long, and she is our LWI HRT Medical Director. So you are going to hear from all of us in the next 46 minutes or so on our experience from really different angles of a obesity medicine, bariatrician, and a HRT specialist, as well as our CEO slash client and true testimonial to all services out Lindora and LDBI. So let's get started. These are our pictures, so you know who's who. And objectives today, pretty straightforward. I want to keep this super light and conversational. I don't want to sit here and lecture at you. I don't want you to fall asleep on me. And some of you are probably eating your lunch, but the things that we want to cover today basically comes down to this. We want to spend some time in defining what hormones are, how it works in our bodies, how it affects us as we grow old, as we age, for both men and women, how that relates to weight management altogether, because again, this is my bread and butter. We are talking about weight management, losing weight, and how to maintain weight loss. So how does hormones in itself play a role as a baseline, as a foundation in our health? And of course, the solution to the problem, which is the therapy that's out there, the supplements that are out there, and what we can do as medical providers to help you as a client in really addressing this issue that is obviously happening to everyone in the audience. So let's get started with that. So I'm going to let Dr. Sara here take over for the next couple of slides to talk about all things hormones and HRT.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Lee. Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Amir. So when we think about hormones and we look at it, now this slide may look a little bit overwhelming, but that's because hormones are complex and they do affect a lot of the areas of our body. But what they are, these are basically sophisticated ways that our body communicates with our organs and our glands to transmit messages. So we can think of these as almost like the Wi-Fi of our body. So our brain has to communicate somehow to these separate areas of our body through our blood. And this is what our hormones do. They're really, in a sense, tiny but very powerful messengers. And if we think about hormone as a word, the Greek derivative is to arouse the activity. So basically, this is the way our brain tells our body, like our thyroid gland, like our adrenal glands, like our ovary, like our testes, to do what it needs to do so we can feel our best. And basically, so how does it connect? Hormones and aging. As we grow older, basically everything slows down. So these hormones that we make by our organs in and of itself, they start to kind of decrease their function as we age, just in and of the process of aging in itself. And then these organs, they start to secrete less of these hormones over time. And these hormones, now that they're secreting less, they start to affect other aspects of our physiology, our biochemistry. So basically, as these hormones are secreted less and less, they are affecting the way that we feel, the way we think, the way we sleep, the way we burn body fat and store fat. And all of those imbalances lead to these symptoms like weight gain, insomnia. Again, just kind of repeating what I said before, just so this hits home. Mood swings, all the things that we just don't need to deal with in a high pressure lifestyle when things need to get done.
All right, and I'll take over this slide. In the picture, a couple pictures prior, with the actual little cartoon drawing of the body and all the different organs and how each organ plays a role in the secretion and the communication among different organs on the overall kind of hormone balance that we're talking about. Weight management is actually really the result, or weight gain is really the result of multi-organ imbalance that happens in the process of aging. And there are a lot of conclusions and ideas on why people gain weight. We can talk about fast food. We can talk about being more sedentary in our current modernized lifestyle. But personally, when it comes to weight gain, and my definition of weight gain comes down to this: our body's aging, and we're not metabolizing like we were, and we're secreting less hormones, and our organs aren't talking to each other. So therefore, everything that is happening in an aging body would always point to the idea and the phenomenon of weight gain. So how does the hormones that I specialize in, or at least what we talk about in weight management, contribute to weight gain? Now, sex organs is one thing, okay? Sex organs is, what Dr. Amir here is specialized in. She basically hyper focuses on the organs that specifically secretes your estrogen, your progesterone, and testosterone, and how that play a role in all the other organs in the rest of your body. For me, in weight management, I target specifically on the hormones that play a role in appetite suppression, on behavior, on things that we think about on a daily basis every time we approach and think about intake or drinking, and also activities and our motivation. Other hormones that play a huge role in our metabolism overall, which can contribute to weight gain, are adrenal glands as well as thyroid glands. And I'm sure some of you in the audience actually are on some kind of thyroid medication because you have something called hypothyroid. Again, this is something that we do as well as sort of the whole package deal when we reevaluate all your hormonal balances or disbalance that is happening in current state. And of course, adrenal gland is also very important. This is a one little baby gland that sits right on top of our kidneys that actually play a huge role in the way we feel on a daily basis with our stress, cortisol, and also what we call sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. The things that we do on a daily basis is literally controlled by this very complex and complicated system that we're built on. So I'll let Sarah take over this slide here. You're on mute.
Sorry, everybody. As Dr. Lee mentioned earlier, I do hyper focus on these, sex hormones like the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. So in women, when we find that these sex hormones like estrogen and progesterone are starting to decrease, and this happens around perimenopause, so that time before menopause hits, and menopause, just remembering that it is defined as 12 consecutive months without a menstrual cycle. So the few years leading up to that, where all of our hormones start to go out of whack and we're just feeling the way we're feeling and we're not feeling the same that we used to, these are some of the reasons what or how these estrogens and decreasing these levels of estrogen and progesterone can impact us. So in terms of weight gain, fat remodeling. So what does that mean? That means when estrogen drops, typically areas of body fat that feminize us in women, like our hip, our buttock, our thighs, all of that decides to move into the lower belly. So now we have increased belly fat. And this type of fat is different from that, what we call subcutaneous or soft white fat. This is deeper. It's actually hard to touch and even harder to lose. And so studies have shown that with this drop in estrogen, this is where our fat migrates to. In terms of losing muscle mass, estrogen is so important in women in maintaining muscle mass. And when we think of muscle, this is the currency of longevity for us. Estrogen dropping being a biomarker for longevity and cardiovascular disease risk and osteoporosis. We want to make sure we can maintain that lean muscle mass to protect our bones, to protect our basically balance, protect ourselves from falling when we're older, and just prevent fragility and fracture. So key to keep estrogen balanced for maintaining that muscle mass. mood changes. So I'm sure a lot of you have gone through this, even when we're cycling, or if you're not cycling anymore, just feeling like you're just all over the place. Estrogen is directly linked to serotonin. Now, serotonin, this is a brain chemical or a neurotransmitter that helps us feel happy, helps us crave less carbs, helps us to feel basically like ourselves and motivated to do what we need to do. And with estrogen dropping, the serotonin drops as well. In terms of sympathetic nervous activation, with estrogen dropping, this can impact our temperature. This can impact feeling anxious. So you might notice if you're feeling that you're getting hot flashes, if you're just starting to feel anxious, or you're just starting to feel irritable, these are all signs of hormone imbalance. This isn't something that you need a mood stabilizer for. This is a hormone imbalance symptom. Progesterone and mood changes. Progesterone is directly linked to a neurotransmitter called GABA. GABA is calming to your system. So when you're having flights of like irritability, you're just looking at your husband or your partner, you're like, God, why are you here? Some of this is directly related to your hormone imbalance. In men, when we're looking at hormone imbalance, testosterone dropping, they're going to feel the same way. Their mood is going to change. They're going to be more grumpy, more irritable. They're going to notice a spare tire around their belly, not only because of the drop in estrogen, but also, or testosterone rather, but also because now they're secreting more estrogen. So they're becoming more feminized. They're becoming more like us in terms of women. So this, in this type of pattern, when we see this in ourselves or in our partner, it's not because we've lost our minds, right? It's just because we really need to look at our hormones and find out what is going on. And likely they're going to be low. And that's just process of aging, process of stress, the cortisol being all dysfunctional, putting more demands on our body. Now we can't sleep. And all of those are a perfect storm to throw our hormones out of whack.
Thank you for that. And there's a lot of overlap of information when it comes to the imbalance of sex hormones compared to other hormones that's relating to weight management and weight gain. And things are happening at the level of our stomach and pancreas, and it goes hand in hand. The sex hormones, which is basically secreted from your sex organs with the ovaries and testes, also talk to everybody else in the body, which is the stomach, pancreas, and brain, of course. In my world, we talk about something called GLP-1, GIP, PYY, and the list goes on. As time goes on in the practice and the research of obesity medicine, there are more and more hormones that are related to the origin of satiety, satisfaction, or urges and cravings that acts both in the gut as well as in our brain. This is what we call the gut-brain axis. So it's super important to really understand the foundation and the baseline of what the hormones are responsible for. So when we talk about HRT, for example, I'm not specifically talking about just sex hormones. We're talking about every hormone secreted by every organ that plays a role in ultimately our behavior and our feeling that changes the way we do things. And so in this case, GLP-1s, which is the kind of active hormone ingredient in what we all know as Ozempic and Mounjaro. We also have a appetite suppression version of these two branded called Zepbound and Wegovy. That's what we're talking about when it comes to hormone balance and hormone replacement. In our business at LWI, Lindora, we basically help you figure out if there's an imbalance of this type of hormones that's playing a role in the way we feel and behave. So when we are actually on a day-to-day basis, we actually secrete GLP-1 and GIP and PYY. These are hormones that are what we consider as satiety hormones. But as we grow old and as we age, the organs that secrete these types of hormones may not secrete the same amount, and our body may not respond to the same effect or at the same level. So therefore, the medication piece come into picture to help us replace or balance out what's going away. And definitely these hunger hormones, satiety hormones play a huge role in the way we feel on hunger, cravings, and also it helps us balance out the way we metabolize fuel on a daily basis. So ultimately, we could actually burn more calories when we optimize these types of hormones in our body. I'll let Sarah touch a little bit on adrenal gland.
Thanks, Dr. Lee. And also, kind of just touching on some of these sex hormones. And as you mentioned, how they impact, all different areas of our body simultaneously. It's important to note that estrogen, it also inhibits your appetite. It also decreases your meal size. And how it does this, it actually directly increases something called CCK. And this is something that's secreted in your small intestine. And that's or your gut, and it signals satiety for you. So something to also keep note of how this all works systemically in terms of satiety. And you may have noticed this when you were cycling, if you are now or you have been in the past, that first half of your menstrual cycle, you're not that hungry. You're ready to go. You're superwoman pretty much. And that's because your estrogen is surging and you're less hungry and you're more satisfied, rather than the second half where your progesterone is now surging, your estrogen is dropping, and all of a sudden you're hungry, you can eat the whole kitchen cabinet. But just to touch on that, I wanted to circle it all around because it's all connected. And now connecting the adrenal imbalance. So your adrenal glands, there's these little hat-shaped kidneys or hat-shaped glands that sit on top of your kidney, and they regulate your cortisol. With that being said, we need cortisol. Now, you may have all heard that, oh, too much cortisol is bad for you. Yeah, could it be? Low cortisol is also not that great. So you have to have that fine balance in that medium. And so when we think of adrenal fatigue, this is when we're just tapped out, that your adrenal glands have just been doing their job for you so you can get through your day, you can get through the year, the past few months, whatever it might be. And now they're exhausted. So they're not able to pump out enough cortisol. And now you're starting to see some gain in belly fat because of that low cortisol. And all on top of it, now you're inflamed because not only have you got some excess body fat on you, which in and of itself causes that inflammation, but now you're feeling sluggish. Now you've got some brain fog because of this inflammation. And maybe you're getting sick more often because of this adrenal fatigue, because you need your adrenal glands functioning properly to keep you healthy as well in terms of immune function. Getting into your thyroid. So we all know that with your thyroid, when it's sluggish, you're going to feel tired. You're going to feel depressed. Maybe you're going to feel cold all the time. Maybe you're constipated. So when your thyroid is overburdened, oftentimes it follows that adrenal fatigue. The thyroid and adrenal glands, they work very closely with each other. And so now you've got lower production of your thyroid stimulating hormone. So what does that mean? Now you don't have, you're basically, your thyroid is overworking and you're not really allowing your body to feel the effects of thyroid hormone, which are to regulate your temperature, to improve your metabolism, which means you have more energy. And on top of it, you're not able to burn your fat. So now you've got lower metabolism and fuel handling at the same time. So it's just this perfect storm really to pack on the pounds and prevent yourself from actually getting out there, working out, functioning properly.
Thank you for that. And just to touch a little bit on the thyroid as well, your thyroid functionality is also affected by the levels of progesterone that you have. So we know that if you have any issues with maintaining your own progesterone level, it also affects downstream the way your thyroid hormone is sequestered in your bloodstream. So people end up having lowering of their active thyroid hormone with concurrent decrease of progesterone as well. So again, it just goes hand in hand. No one is operating off by themselves. It all works together in one way or another. And this is why it's super important that in our business, we not only talk about weight management in itself, but we tied in the whole hormone piece, because that is always one of the potential cause for the imbalance of the overall health of an individual. So the good news is there's solution. There are solutions to things. There are therapy, there are treatments, there are supplements out in the marketplace that could actually help you at all different levels. Meaning, hey, look, if you want to at least start to explore some of the treatment modality out in the marketplace, we can basically help you navigate through this confusion of what's happening in my body. Take it one organ at a time and also help you wrap everything up on coming up with a all comprehensive plan on how to treat everything all at once in a more adaptable way. So without overwhelming your system. So at Lindora, Suite of Services, we do have 30 clinics here in Southern California, one in Washington State. These are all the things that we do. Majority of our clinics do have all the services that you see here in these little bubbles. But weight management is really our core business. This is what we do really well. We've been in business for over 50 years, since 1971. And weight management, nutrition counseling, accountability visits, it's our bread and butter. We know how to approach a client suffering from overweightness and obesity. The medication piece had been icing on the cake. We have been prescribing medication from the start of the practice. So we do prescribe brand name medications, from your first generation medications such as phentermine, Tenuate, to all the new stuff now in the marketplace known as Wegovy and Zepbound. On top of all that, we also offer compound medications, which is the semaglutide and tirzepatide, because we feel that it is important to be able to offer a service piece that fills in the gap for those who can't get the brand name medication. So this is why we have the compound options as well. So we're really trying to help as many people as possible in our ecosystem when it comes to weight management. Dr. Sara had been an addition to our company and really carved out the whole service of hormone replacement therapy. As much as I want to do it all, the fact is, my bread and butter is weight management and medication and body contouring, but Sara is a specialist in what she does. This is her training, and she is all about hormone replacement. That's all she practices. And so this is a great addition to our company, to having that mindset of a specialist who works closely with me to make sure that our client is getting the best of both worlds. And of course, icing on the cake with everything else that we have already really comes down to all the great things that we already practice, but yet we kind of are able to kind of blow it out of the water, meaning IV hydration, using vitamins, minerals, and amino acids in IV forms. But the best news is we have been practicing vitamin medicine or vitamin therapy from the start with our weight management. We have been using vitamin B6 amino acids from day one. And what we did was added more services and really optimized the service offering so everyone gets to experience everything under one roof. And lastly, we got body contouring, which is one of the things actually is Colleen Lewis's favorites. And she is a true client and to all these suite of services, because frankly, we have a leader that literally understands and believes in what she does on a daily. I'm going to let Colleen talk a little bit about her experience thus far in the past year at Lindora.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Dr. Lee. And hi, Dr. Sara. Nice to see you. You know, what I would say is I always feel pretty vulnerable when I start to share my experience, but here we go. I'm just going to put myself out there. I'm a 56-year-old female. I'll turn 57 in just a few short months in July. And when I joined Lindora, I was 60 pounds heavier than I am today, almost 65 pounds heavier. And I had just, had a year of not having any periods or menstruation. So I was just menopausal. And quite frankly, I knew that I wasn't happy with myself and the way that I looked and the way that I felt. And I knew that there were solutions. And quite frankly, my decision to join Lindora was because I knew that we had an opportunity to help men and women live healthier, longer lives. And I myself was desirous of some of these services as a client, but then also as a CEO to bring this broadly out to the community. And so I started on our weight loss program. And soon thereafter, we launched GLP-1s, and I started on GLP-1s. I've since transitioned from GLP-1s to GLP-1s and GIPs. So I'm taking tirzepatide. I transitioned off of semaglutide onto tirzepatide. And I was really, well, before I say I was interested in HRT, Zerona. If you haven't taken advantage of Zerona, I would encourage you to. I used to threaten that I was going to put a machine in the office and we were going to do meetings while I was getting Zerona services. But no joke, it is a great, great non-invasive body contouring option that as you're on your weight loss journey, helps you to lose inches and to really feel better and look better. But with that said, I had a really high level of interest in hormone replacement therapy. And maybe like some of you, my experience was I asked my primary care physician about it. They steered me away from it. I asked my gynecologist about it, and they were like, yeah, no, maybe. And what I've come to learn since is that those doctors actually aren't trained and specialists in hormone replacement therapy. So when Dr. Sara joined our team, I was like, look, I think I need to be one of your patients, one of your clients. I need to understand this. And we started with, just a blood panel, right? There's a specific lab that we run for HRT. And it was really, really eye-opening because, and Dr. Sara, I might not get it 100% correct, but like the one number that really stands out to me is my estrogen was very, very low, like 0 low. And my testosterone and my progesterone, although they were within normal, they were very low within normal. So we had a big opportunity to get all of my hormones balanced. And I'm actually due for a new lab to be run. But recently we made some slight modifications to my formulary. So I started with progesterone, testosterone, and estrogen. And recently we increased my dosage of progesterone and maintained my dose of estrogen and testosterone. And so I'll be getting another lab draw here shortly. And I'm really looking forward to sitting down with Dr. Sara. What I can tell you is that anecdotally or symptomatically, I would have said, and I actually did say to Dr. Sara, yeah, I'm pretty low symptom. Yeah, I don't really have problems sleeping. Yeah, occasionally I'll have a hot flash. Occasionally I'll have night sweats. Occasionally, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought that I was pretty low symptomatic. The fact of the matter is 6 months of being on hormone replacement, it's helped me drive through some plateaus that I've hit on my weight loss journey. I 100% attribute my ability to sort of blast through those plateaus to the focus that we have on my hormones. But quite frankly, I sleep through the night. I don't remember the last time I woke up in the middle of the night. I never wake up with sweats, night sweats, and I feel really good. I feel vibrant. I feel energetic. I feel just candidly happy. And if I were going to just touch on the vanity piece of it, I always felt like my hair was good, my nails were good, my skin was good, but I get more compliments than I ever have on, oh my God, your hair looks great, your skin looks great. Nobody's really complimented my nails, so maybe I'll have to focus on that a little bit. But, I 100% attribute it to getting my hormones balanced. And so I'm really, really grateful. And wherever my life takes me, I'm a client for life. And I'm just a really big believer in the impact that these services that Lindora offers has had on me personally. And just on a side note, my husband is also a client, and he's a client of Dr. Sara's. So my husband is 56. He'll also turn 57 this year. Quite frankly, he looks like he has Benjamin Buttoned a little bit. He's like reverse aging. I'm like, what is happening? He looks like he's 10 or 15 years younger since being a client of Dr. Lee's and Dr. Sara's. And so I feel so passionately about it and about sharing it, even though it makes me a little vulnerable to do so, because I personally and within my family have just seen such amazing impact from hormone replacement therapy as well as the other services.
Thank you for that. I mean, I think, like a lot of clients, I feel like these are the testimonials that make Dr. Sara and my life kind of way more meaningful than what it is, because fact is, our task is to roll out protocols, make sure everyone's doing the right thing, prescribe, assess, manage. But when you hear about the quality of life, you know, as simple as just gaining better energy and feeling a little bit more motivated on a daily basis, those are the little things that I find way more important than anything else. You know, otherwise everything is just kind of, you know, we live life on a daily basis, but we all are going to grow old. So the question is, how does that impact us as individuals? And there is no cookie cutter to therapy. And I'll let Dr. Sara here touch on really the start of the HRT therapy to begin with.
Absolutely. And Colleen, I'm so happy to know you and Brett are feeling so amazing. And as Dr. Lee mentioned, it does, give my life a sense of purpose. And this is the passion I have. And this is why I do the medicine I do, because a lot of women are not getting the care they need, because a lot of docs out there aren't trained. And so there's this fear of, no, you shouldn't do hormones. It's bad for you. It's not, if you know what you're doing and you know how to deliver it and you know at the right dose. And I'm so happy that you shared your story, and thank you for that. And speaking of, in terms of hormone replacement therapy, this is not something that we do in what's called supraphysiologic dose. So we don't overdose. This is something that the dosages we recommend are specifically tailored, to your body, but just to make sure that we are replenishing and replacing what is lost. And so we use bioidenticals to do that, which means these are hormones that are chemically identical to your own molecules. So they fit on the receptors in your organs properly so they can transmit the message they need to. It's safer in terms of the clinical efficacy. So it's really a beautiful way to restore your sleep, restore your energy, improve your mental focus and cognition and performance, improve your metabolism, and help you on your journey to weight loss, to really just reclaiming your life and feeling your best the way you used to in your 30s. And so that's why I love doing what I do, because I do see the results. I do hear from my patients that, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so much better. I can sleep throughout the night. I haven't been able to sleep in 5-10 years. I feel happier. My relationship with my partner, my kids, my husband, I feel like I'm a normal human being again. I can get through my work. My work is demanding. I can, function throughout my day. I feel like $1,000,000. I feel sexy. And that's the goal, and women are so much more vulnerable to these hormonal changes when they go out of whack. It's not like how it is with men where it just drops a little bit and they're like, oh, I'm feeling something. Maybe I need some testosterone. No, with women, right before you hit menopause, in that perimenopause state, your estrogen's doing okay. Actually, your progesterone is mostly doing okay. It's dropping. But all of a sudden, your estrogen's going all over the place, just creating havoc. Then once you hit menopause, that's when both levels drop. And all of a sudden, you're feeling like, what just hit me in my face right now? I can't get up. I can't move. I can't do anything. I don't feel like myself. And so we do use a combination of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone in women. Women do need some testosterone. It's protective of your ovary. It helps you maintain lean muscle mass, and so does estrogen. Estrogen is key to helping you maintain skeletal muscle mass. Progesterone, also super helpful to help you balance out the estrogen. You can't have too much estrogen. You can't have too little of it, but you need the progesterone in combination with the estrogen, especially if you have a uterus and you want to protect yourself against endometrial cancer. So that's going to be key to combine it. And that triad or combination is going to be unique to you. So it's not cookie cutter. It's not one size fits all, and they can be balanced and adjusted at any time. In men, It's a little less complex. We're just really dealing with one hormone, which is testosterone. But we use injectable. We also have an oral clomiphene citrate, which is helpful to increase your testosterone if you're still looking to conceive. So this is in the younger guys that are maybe like, my wife and I are planning to have a child in the next year, in the next 6 months. We can use some clomiphene. It actually helps increase your sperm count as well. If you're needing some thyroid hormones, we do prescribe and monitor that. And the combination of all of them, if you need thyroid with your hormones, it should help improve your overall quality of life, which is the goal. Now, talking about DIM, you may have heard of this. It is found in what's called the brassica family or cruciferous veggies. These are kale, cabbage, bok choy, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Yes, they're great to have fiber in your diet, help with bowel movements and excretion of your toxins, but more importantly, when it relates to your sex hormones, this compound can also help prevent conversion of your testosterone to estrogen, which in men super key. Sometimes in women, we need it as well. If you have polycystic ovarian syndrome and you're running high on that testosterone level, eating those foods or even taking a supplement, typically 300 milligrams a day has been studied and recommended to allow your body to excrete and metabolize any harmful estrogens. And also to prevent some of this conversion of testosterone to estrogen. So this is something I like to use in most of my patients because when you do have estrogen in your body, whether you're taking it or not, even in our reproductive years, so when we are menstruating, our estrogens can normally metabolize into different types. And so taking this supplement, eating these foods allows our body to create a ratio or balance of the healthy versus unhealthy estrogens that can lead to cancers. And those unhealthy estrogens can often sometimes impact your thyroid as well. And women are more vulnerable to that at the same time. So really great to layer this in, whether, you're just on our weight loss program or even when you're on our GLP-1s, something really wonderful for women and men to layer in if you need it.
Thank you for that. And just a little bit of a personal experience. I recently had my hormone panel checked on my 46th birthday, and all my hormones came back normal. And I had some clinical symptoms that I had questions about. And then I was just very curious at the time. At 46, for the Asian female, we are known culturally to hit perimenopause earlier than the Caucasian or African American or Hispanic culture. So knowing that, I wanted to be more proactive about my own hormonal health. And so when the hormone results came back and Sara took a look at all my levels, the one thing that was on the lower end of normal was testosterone. Now, granted, I personally don't feel like I need additional testosterone because I could get pretty aggressive on days, but her recommendation was trying out something called DIM, which is a perfect kind of segue into doing something with supplements versus having to hit hard with hormones when your hormone levels return normal. And so one of our services that we do offer is, hey, you know what, maybe you're not in a stage where your levels are imbalanced to a degree that you need hormonal balance with actual estrogen or testosterone, progesterone, but you can do some initial housekeeping things such as even starting supplementation that could help you stabilize what you have as of now at a younger age. And we're happy to actually go through that journey with you as well to answer any questions that you may have that you may be curious about, but yet not explore the actual journey of getting actual hormones as a therapy. Now, and it's just a reminder, we are implementing services to balance, to restore, to replace something that we know is going to go away. So simply, as Dr. Sara had mentioned, we're not giving you super therapeutic doses of anything, and you're not going to bulk up as some of the females may be fearful of. These are simply ways for us to say, look, it is going down that path, and we can do something about it even early on, and just being proactive about it. Now, when it comes to weight management and hormone replacement, for weight management per se, we're talking about diet and hormone replacement with what we call GLP-1 and GIP, which is known as your semaglutide or tirzepatide. There are, of course, other medications out in the marketplace that helps with appetite suppression, but we are focusing on hormone-related medication, and this is why we're talking about GIP, GLP-1s. Now, ketogenic diet itself is also a modality that we practice at Lindora. And with given information and clinical trials of what are other diets out in the marketplace, there are many. We practice a variation of a ketogenic diet because it works. And we have been practicing this for many of years under our protocol at Lindora. Now, the idea here is that you are trying to get your body into what we call state of ketosis, which is fat burn. When that happens by the use of basically cutting out all your simple carbohydrates, refined carbs, simple sugars that we may find in a lot of our foods that we eat every day, we can literally teach you how to play with proportions and macronutrients such as proteins, fats, and carbohydrates to reach that state of ketosis in your body where it triggers your body into fat burn. And there are many ways to go into fat burn. And frankly, you can be on a water diet and starve yourself and you go into ketosis. But that kind of ketosis would put you at risk for way more muscle loss than you should be experiencing. So this is why ketogenic diet under medically supervised weight loss program is important. You have to learn how to eat at a certain level to protect your muscles. Then you can actually optimize and maintain your metabolism and keep burning calories even when you stop dieting. We are medically supervised because by law and by definition, we do end up dipping down the caloric intake to less than 1,000 calories. Though in our business, we don't teach people how to count calories. That's not our core education. We actually focus on lean proteins and complex carbohydrates. These are the things that we actually teach you on how to count and how to actually utilize those information, embed it into your daily intake of food, and get your body into fat burn state. We also know that meaningful weight loss in our weight loss industry, or at least in the practice of obesity medicine, it's about 5 to 8% of weight loss. This is, to us, kind of low bar because frankly, our weight loss program help people lose purely from weight loss alone with no medication use. We're hitting data of about 10%, which is way more superior than what the guidelines even expect. And then on top of that, if you choose to explore the option of use of medications such as your phentermine, Contrave, or Wegovy, and or the compound options, you could even bump that up to as high as 15 to 22% of weight loss, which is actually really close to surgical weight loss data when it comes to weight loss efficacy. So I feel that in today's day, modern day, this is the best time to be in medicine or obesity medicine because of the powerful non-surgical ways to lose very, very significant weight and actually have really good health outcomes. Of course, on top of everything that we do, we also implement vitamin injectables, IV hydration, as well as we have our line of products that are what we call superfoods, phytochemicals, and things that we sell to supplement your journey when it comes to weight management. And just a little bit on ketosis itself. When we talk about ketosis, we're talking about nutritional ketosis, meaning eating in a way to cause fat burn in your body versus starvation. And so our intention is not to starve the body. Our intention is to make sure that you're full and satisfied. And a lot of our clients, I would say majority of our clients, are actually quite surprised at the fact and how full they feel when they go through our program because of the way we calculate your protein intake by purely your muscle mass. So everyone walks away with a very individualized program, and we don't practice a cookie cutter plan where everyone's on the same diet for that very reason. So the facts about medical weight loss really comes down to this. These are our internal data, by the way. When it comes to our 10-week weight loss programs, we help people lose about 18 to 24 pounds on average. And this is not by the use of medications. This is purely from accountability visits, you coming in to interact with our specialists in nutrition, having conversations, having those deep, vulnerable, moments with our personnel to really go over your journey on a daily basis. And just checking in with us is super powerful. And this is why we still have the 30 brick and mortar clinics, because it serves this huge purpose of the mental health piece for our clients. We measure your ketosis. We want to make sure that objectively you're seeing results, that you're changing color on these little ketosis, what we call ketone sticks, to show that your body is in fat burn mode. We talk about all the contraindications, indicated use for medications. We prescribe everything that is FDA approved, as well as the compounded options. So, because this is what we practice, we are specialists in weight loss medicine. And of course, all the supplementation and nutraceutical and products that we carry are all intentional. What does that mean? I'm not selling just purely a multivitamin on the shelf and where things that you can get on Amazon or Costco. I'm selling very specific products like this one here called Capsulin, which is a very novelty ingredient called dihydrocapsiate. We partnered up with a company called Ajinomoto, and they make this really high grade ingredient specifically relating to what we call the Thai chili pepper capsule. And it has a lot of clinical data with this supplement, and a lot of natural supplements really don't have clinical trials, but this one does. And this is one of the things that I kind of vet out and make sure that when we partner up with the best, there has to be some good clinical data. I really like this product. Why? Because the data does confirm and have shown many of times that when you take it consistently at the recommended dose, you could actually burn an additional 50 to 100 more calories a day. Now, to a lot of people, 50 to 100 more calories may be kind of meaningless, but when you're on a diet program and you're cutting calories and dipping down to as low as 1,000 calories intake per day, burning an extra 100 calories by simply taking a supplement could be very impactful. And also there are many studies that are out there, including one that I was part of the team in publishing myself over 10 years ago at UCLA, which have shown that when you're on a high lean protein regimen, such as similar to Lindora program, and concurrently taking supplementation of Capsulin at a low dose and a high dose, you could actually drive your body into more fat burn versus muscle loss. So this is super impactful and actual meaningful when it comes to the life of a dieter, because the last thing you want to do is burn muscle mass. And that has always been a conversation around how we, as the medical providers, be able to educate, re-educate, and really just get our dieters to figure out ways to optimize the way the body burns fat. Now, I am going to spend a few minutes on these various slides on medications, because the medication piece is super important when it comes to the journey of a dieter. We believe in the counseling, we believe in the visits, and you have to come in, you got to put yourself on the scale, and so we can record and have conversations with you as well. But there are those or individuals that really do need that extra help in really tapping into those receptors in the stomach as well as in the brain to calm down all the noises that's preventing you from optimizing your weight loss journey. These are all the medications that are out in the marketplace right now that are FDA approved for as an appetite suppressant that we prescribe at Lindora. I am a specialist in obesity medicine, and these are the medications I prescribe. So as you see, you don't see Ozempic or Mounjaro on my list because I'm not an endocrinologist and I don't treat diabetes. However, there are medications that is a sister brand of Mounjaro and Ozempic. And so we approach our clients with all the options that are out in the marketplace, and we obviously abide by current guidelines. Now, I highlighted liraglutide, semaglutide, and tirzepatide because these are also considered hormones. And so this is part of our conversation today and how the imbalance of your hormones play a role ultimately in weight gain or difficulty weight loss maintenance. It's super important to know that, hey, that in your life and in your journey in weight management, you have to really think about the picture as a whole. We're not just talking about your sex hormones being imbalanced or you having a low level of, and you got to replace it. But you got to talk about the organs next to the sex hormone, or what's really talking back and forth between your brain and your stomach and your testes or your ovaries that may be holding you back from your full potential. So great thing is we do everything. We do everything that's hormone related when it comes to weight management. And we're all board certified to do what we do. I love the fact that I have the capability on bringing new medications onto our formulary overnight because this is our bread and butter. This is what we do best. But otherwise, the mechanism of action for this hormone, the GLP-1s and GIP, is very simple. These are the two main things that it does in our body. Number one, it causes a slowing down of your gastric emptying time. So it tells your stomach to hold on to food that you eat just a little bit longer so you could feel fuller faster, and it keeps you fuller longer, which then helps you prevent snacking or overeating. So that behavior itself is super powerful because you now are changing behavior. You're putting down your fork faster and more often versus continuing on with input of calories. And the second mechanism of action here is promoting your natural secretion of your insulin from your pancreas. So when your body naturally makes more insulin and where your insulin is riding on the higher level throughout the day, your body is actually triggered to optimize the way it brings fuel into your muscles for you to expend and burn versus storing it into fat. So this is super important in a sense. And this is why this class of medication was initially made for the treatment of diabetes. But soon after, many people being on it, they realize the side effect is weight loss, which is now why they recreated the medication with the new indicated use. So these are all happy new information that they found in the use of GLP-1s for their diabetics. Of course, ultimately, the result when you use a GLP-1 or GIP as part of your weight loss journey is that you will get fuller faster, you will stay fuller longer. So ultimately, you put in less calories into your day, into your body throughout the day. You're increasing metabolism. So meaning if you're sedentary and you're not able to go to the gym because you have chronic pain, lower back pain, knee pain, hip pain, and it's not allowing you to be as active as you wanted to be. But guess what? Your body is metabolizing and burning calories for you throughout the day. So this is why it is actually contributing to the extreme weight loss compared to other classes of medication. What I really do love about this medication is that it changes your perception of the foods that you used to crave. And so there's a lot of data now that's being finalized and confirmed that it plays a huge role in addiction. The things that we find to be that could be addicting, such as drugs, alcohol, sugars, even cigarette smoking. So if anything, I'm waiting for that data to come out so I can actually share that with you as well, because that is super powerful when it comes to the idea of just addiction. And I do view that obesity medicine is addiction medicine. And finally, the absolute contraindications for those who are kind of curious and interested in, hey, do I qualify for this? The absolute contraindication is really straightforward and simple. If you or a family have had a history of some form of thyroid cancer, very specifically the C cell type, then you wouldn't be a good candidate for reasons of, because during safety studies, during their clinical trials, what they did find with rat studies was that the rats that were placed on GLP-1s with the history of these type of cancers actually had a recurrence at a higher rate compared to placebo. So this is why it's on the label. It's a black box label almost. So if you do have any of the positive history of that, you're not a candidate. But again, very rare conditions. And of course, when you're pregnant, if you're pregnant, you should be gaining weight and not losing weight. And this is really for the health of the fetus. And the relative contraindications are those with history of pancreatitis, meaning if you have had history of pancreatitis, we can discuss further on what you need to think about if you do choose to start this medication. And then, of course, CKD means chronic kidney disease, which actually a lot of our clients do have underlying of because it is a complication of diabetes and being overweight. So we do talk to our patients and manage our clients in that sense. And so kind of understand or at least memorize these few things if you are interested in exploring. Most common side effects are just mild nausea. To date, we have almost 2,000 clients at Lindora taking semaglutide and tirzepatide. And I would say I get all the extreme cases brought to me in corporate because I'm the chief medical officer. However, I would say I can probably count with my one hand that of who actually had severe symptoms, side effects where they had to stop the medication altogether. But otherwise, the more common would be mild nausea, which we also treat and manage as well in our clinic. These are some of the graphs. I don't want to spend too many minutes on this, but these are some of the real world data that you may find online if you want to read more about the brand name Wegovy, known as semaglutide, as well as Mounjaro and tirzepatide, which really shows better weight loss efficacy in tirzepatide compared to semaglutide. Now, I'm going to let Colleen take on this slide here, really just wrap it up, the suite of services and what we are offering as a promotion because you joined us today.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Lee. As Dr. Lee and Dr. Sara were talking, I realized there were some things that I didn't say. So I do take all the supplements. I do participate in all of the proteins that are available through Lindora. But we want to make sure that we're helping everybody on this call who wants to positively impact their health and their life. And so, as you know, I do it all. I follow a ketogenic diet. I do use our medications. I am on HRT. I do take our supplements. Capsio is one of my most favorite, but so is Muscle Maintain. And then because I've lost weight and I'm feeling better and I have more energy, my level of activity and exercise, specifically targeting the maintenance and the growth of lean muscle mass, has been something that I've been really focused on. You know, as I've hit my 50s, I say it's not just about looking good, although I want to look good. It's really about being healthy and strong as I age. And we know that lean muscle mass is a key indicator to metabolic health. And so I've really been focusing on lean muscle mass. And quite frankly, the last time we did an in-body scan, which is our body composition test, I've not only maintained, but I've slightly grown my lean muscle mass percentage as I have lost weight and lost fat. So I am a true believer. With that said, do we have a slide, Dr. Lee, that talks to our offer? So this month we are offering, with any level of membership, if you become either a wellness weight loss member, an HRT member, or join our weight loss medications, GLP-1s and GIPs in the month of November, we're offering a free month of skinny shots. So that's 8 shots over a month. And those shots are really, really valuable. I should have mentioned, I get our skinny shots, I get our lipo shots, I get our B6 and our B12 shots, because what I can tell you from my experiences, there's not one thing that I can point at that has been the magic bullet, if you will, but really the combination of all of the services, including IV hydration, et cetera, has really helped me to feel, most importantly, feel my personal best, to be a healthier version of myself. And so as an incentive to you for being on this call, as well as to people who are exploring Lindora services this month, we have this offer for you.
Which is your 8 skinny shots with a commitment to our membership for 2024. But the skinny shot, you know, it's one of our premium injectables, and we charge $69 a shot. It is a combination of B complex, which is 5 different Bs, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, along with B12, taurine, MICC, which is your amino acids. And we feel that it's best to combine these skinny shots with a weight loss program. And also, when we do end up losing weight by restricting caloric intake, we tend to forget some of the vitamins that are part of our natural food sources. So it's always a great idea to complement vitamin injectables via IM or IV with your program. But with that said,
and Dr. Lee, I'll just call out, right, these 8 free shots are a $552 value to the client.
Exactly. So definitely take advantage of that. For those who are already part of our system, let us know. Probably can grandfather you into this promotion. But for those who are new, we welcome you. Join us, check us out, and reach out to us. Otherwise, my email is amy.lee@lwifranchise.com. You can probably find us online as well. Find a clinic that's near you. Reach out to us, see how we can help and partner with you in your journey. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.